Buckingham Palace is not commenting at all on this, which is why I think it's perhaps quite surprising, or maybe not, that the Sussex team have decided to come out and confirm these stories at this particular time. Effectively, it means that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are no longer going to have a home in the United Kingdom. It was a gift from the Queen following their wedding in 2018. £2.4 million of our money, taxpayers' money, was spent renovating it. When they stepped back as working members of the royal family, Harry and Meghan did actually pay back that funds. But I think what's interesting here is the timing of when the King reportedly decided to ask Harry and Meghan to vacate the property. According to The Sun, it happens the day after Harry's memoir was released, when obviously there were many criticisms of members of the royal family, and I think it was perhaps the final nail in the coffin in terms of number of grenades that have been thrown against the royal family by Harry and Meghan. We've had Oprah, then we had the Netflix series and various interviews promoting this particular particular memoir. So clearly I think it shows the state of relations with the royal family.
And the fact that it's coming out now, even though presumably they've known about it for quite some time, there's a suggestion perhaps that they've had a couple of quiet weeks, their popularity's dipping, perhaps they're putting this back in the public domain to garner sympathy? Well,
perhaps it's interesting, isn't it? Because Harry and Meghan have constantly maintained they want privacy and they want to perhaps control the narrative of what's being said. But then they've put themselves back on the front pages this morning in the United Kingdom, again distracting from perhaps some would see as a worthy cause from the Queen Consort World Book Day, which perhaps we'll come on to later. But clearly, I think the other problem, I suppose, here is that the King has reportedly offered Frogmore Cottage to Prince Andrew in a cost-cutting measure because he lives in Royal Lodge, this massive mansion at the moment. The King's reportedly cutting his 250 grand annual allowance, which means he can no longer afford the upkeep of Royal Lodge. So, in the King's perspective...
Royal Lodge, then? I thought perhaps the Prince and Princess of Wales might be eyeing it up because they reportedly think that where they're staying, what's the name of it?
Adelaide Cottage.
Adelaide Cottage is a bit pokey.
Yeah, well, perhaps. It is a very small cottage, very close to Frogmore, actually, funnily enough. But you're right. I think the Prince and Princess of Wales clearly are going to want a bigger property. But it's all within the guarded perimeter of the Windsor estate. So Harry, as we know, is currently in a legal battle with the Home Office over their decision not to allow him to pay for his own police protection when he's in the UK. He lost that security when he stepped back as a working member of the royal family. So from Harry and Meghan's perspective, Frogmore Cottage was the only place within the United Kingdom where they had guaranteed security, which clearly it appears is now going to be taken away.
And their unofficial spokesperson, Omid Scobie, tweeting that yesterday, saying that it was cruel and this was the only place that they felt safe in the UK. But just on the point of the timing and relating it to the release of the book Spare, during the widespread publicity that Prince Harry did, he talked about hoping for reconciliation. Essentially what he meant by that was he wanted an apology before he would come to the coronation. Does this tell us what the likelihood of an apology if the actual result instead is an eviction?
Well, perhaps. I have been told categorically that no invitations have gone out as of yet, but there are save the dates going to be happening, we think, next week. But you're right, I think Harry and Meghan have not decided whether or not they're going to attend the coronation as of yet. There are reports that Harry is demanding an apology from both King Charles and the Prince of Wales before he makes that decision. I think perhaps it's incredibly unlikely that William and Charles are going to give Harry that apology. In fact, from my understanding, they haven't even spoken for many months. I think it shows the state of relations are perhaps at an all-time low, and I think it's unlikely, perhaps, that we are going to see Harry and Meghan at the coronation following this news that they are having to give up Frogmore Cottage, as it were. But we'll have to wait for an official announcement on that.
OK.